Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Boujre here, and today we have a story time. I did want to say thank you to all of my returning subscribers, and if you are a new viewer, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Join the family. You're gonna love it over here. Don't have a schedule for when I post. However, I do try to at least post once or twice a week, and I'm thinking about putting myself on a schedule. So to all of my loyal subscribers and all of my new viewers, just know that there is some structure coming to this channel where I post more frequently throughout the week and on certain days. Now, with that being said, I want you guys to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Leave me any comments down below. Today, we're going to do a story for Halloween. So that's why I have the TV on. I need the background noise. I am home alone. So I need the background noise. So yeah, we're going to tell a story today. You're going to see me in this outfit twice probably because I have another story I'm going to record as well. So just know I'm recording 2 stories at once, and it is nighttime. It's like 2 in the morning over here. So let's just jump straight into this. So the story I'm going to be telling, I wanted to go ahead and give you guys some insight into my life. Let's get a little more personal, right? So I am very spiritual. Some of my friends and family would say that I am sensitive to the spiritual world. I grew up a Christian, and from there, you know, I always believed in Christianity. I believe in God and things like of that nature. So the stories I'm going to tell you today, they have to do with spirituality. You may or may not believe in it. That is totally your preference, but I definitely do, especially after the things that have happened to me. So let's go into it. When I was little, I used to get sleep paralysis quite a lot. If you guys don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's basically when you wake up and you're awake mentally, but you're kind of paralyzed physically. So you can't speak, you can't move, you can't talk. Growing up, my grandmother called it the witch riding your back, the hag riding your back. I heard somebody say that recently. But I'm pretty sure witch and hag mean the same thing. Or like a demon riding your back, things like that is what they used to call it growing up. I'm sorry if I keep looking the other way as well. I'm like keeping myself in tune. But to give y'all this video, I'm gonna have to be comfortable today, okay? So growing up, this thing that used to happen scared me. Hold on, let me put something else on TV. It used to scare me like a lot. Like it would happen, and so it would happen. And when I say this started when I was like, if I could remember back, I was probably like 10 or 11 maybe. So yeah, this started way back then, and all types of things happen. I even like used to have dreams when I was younger than that, but they weren't really sleep paralysis. And you guys comment below, okay? Comment below, comment a falling emoji. Wait, I don't think there is a falling emoji. Hold on. You've had this dream before? Comment below. I want you to comment a balloon emoji. Only because balloons float. In this dream, I used to float as if I was falling out of the bed, but I was always falling down my steps. And I don't know why the dream bothered me so much. Like when I was a kid, and I say I was having this dream like since I was little. I was having this dream when I was like first grade. I remember it was a reoccurring dream. I used to have it all the time. I was always falling, and I would be like falling but floating. Oh my God, I'm getting the chills even like reiterating this to y'all. But when I was younger, I used to have a dream like falling off buildings and stuff. My grandma used to be like, as long as you don't die in your dream, you're fine or whatever. And I never would. I would never like hit the bottom or anything in my dream. But then I started having dreams. Sorry, this is a little loud. I started having dreams where I was falling down the steps, but I wasn't falling, I was floating. So like, you know, when you're falling and you're like, ah, falling, right? No, I had dreams. They were my steps in my house at my grandparents' house. If y'all did not know, I grew up with my grandparents half my life, probably like 75% of my life. But I had dreams where I was going down the steps and I would just be floating over the steps going down. And I would wake up and the dream would bother me so much. And even now, like I'm getting chills. And I don't know. And I seen myself doing it or I realized I was doing it. Like, I don't remember if I used to watch myself doing it or if I could just like be in the moment and see myself doing it. But even now, I'm envisioning these dreams as I'm saying it to y'all. And in these dreams, it would be like black. I had a nightgown on. I always had like this glowy orange nightgown on. It was like a pale orange, but it kind of glowed. And is glue a word? It kind of glowed. Yeah, it was like luminescent in the dark. And it would be dark, and I would just be floating down my grandparents' steps. And that happened a lot. So let's say that started it. My grandparents were both very spiritual. My grandfather and my grandmother, rest her soul. My Nana took us to church. We went to church every Sunday. We were highly in the church. And the house we lived in had been in the family for years. Like my grandfather grew up there. My dad grew up there. The house had been there for years. So I would like to say that's when like some of the dreaming things happen. And now that I'm older, I've realized that when I sleep, when I dream, I'm definitely connected to another side because I have had many dreams that were foreshadowing what was to happen in the future. To be lighthearted, let's say I've had a dream once about my like ex-boyfriend cheating on me, right? And I remember having the dream and like in the dream, he like cheated and like I was so hurt and I woke up really, really hurt. Like I woke up really, really upset, like on the verge of tears. And I woke up mad at him. Like that's how much emotion I had behind this dream. Y'all, leave me a comment of an angry face if y'all ever woke up mad about a dream and mad at the person in real life because they cheated or they did something to you in the dream and you couldn't shake the feeling. Well, I woke up and I explained this dream to him and I explained how I felt and I explained like I hope he never cheated on me, blah, blah, blah. I poured my heart out, bared my soul, right? Months later, he was cheating on me. Like, so this is what I mean. And I'm going to tell you guys just a few stories. They're short stories, so we'll just condense them. I have a few stories of when this thing happened to me, but one of the times that really, really stick in my mind, I was in high school. And like I said, when it would happen, I would be like, it would bother me. I had been maybe in the 11th grade. I was like in the 11th grade and I was upstairs and I'm asleep and I wake up and I'm in my bed and my bed was not onto a wall. So you know how some people push their beds up against the wall. My bed was directly in the middle of my floor. So I was just in the middle of the floor. So I'm in the bed and I'm waking up and I'm looking. So we lived in an older house in Pittsburgh. And my room actually had a shelf built into the wall. So if I could find a picture, I'll insert it because it's kind of be hard to explain. But older houses tend to sometimes have like built-in storage into the wall. And I was facing that. I remember I used to keep like my pictures on it. I used to keep like a bunch of stuff on it. So I was facing that. And I woke up and I was trying to like talk and move and I couldn't move. And I remember like panicking in my head because I'm like, I can't move, I can't talk, I can't say anything. And I remember seeing like my siblings walking past my door because it was like the morning time. So they were probably going downstairs to get breakfast, whatever may have you. And my door was like cracked. And I remember trying to like say their names and I couldn't. So in my head, I told you guys I grew up a Christian. So my family, my grandparents that raised me heavy on the church. So I'm like reciting Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, right? I go into that prayer and then immediately like I go to sleep, I wake up and everything's okay. So I tell my grandparents about it because they're the more like churchy ones. So I go to them about it, and I'm explaining to them. They're like, just stay prayed up, stay prayed up, stay prayed up. So that's one of the times I can remember. And I think it scared me so much because it was like the middle of the day and it was for a long time. I remember that. Like, I remember laying there for a very extended amount of time. Like, it was not a short amount of time. Sis is getting the chills. Okay, y'all. I don't know why I waited till 2 a.m. when I'm home alone. So, okay, let's go into the second time. So, I think I have 3 that I'm going to tell, or 4. So, the second time happened in college. The next 2 are going to be in college. So, this time happened when I was dating JC. He was in one of my previous story times. I think the first time going to the strip club, he was a part of that story. I was dating JC at the time. Let me give you guys some backstory on where the house was, what it was like, and go from there. So at this time, I was dating JC, and we lived in a quad house. So it was an apartment with 4 rooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 kitchen, 1 living room. The rooms were on each side of the house. So on one side of the house was 2 rooms. On the other side was another 2 rooms. Me and JC took up one whole side. Because we were dating, when we moved in, I moved in with all boys. So I lived with JC, and I lived with 2 other guys that lived on the other side of the room, or of the house. JC had his room, I had my room, but of course we slept in one room, and then we would put like all of our stuff in another room. But we still had our separate rooms. So when we would fight or whatever may have you, he'd go in his room. His room was decorated like he wanted it. My room was decorated how I wanted it. Usually my room was just storage. However, this particular day we had, I'm guessing we both had slept in my room. And then when he used to go to work early in the morning. So let's say 8 to 3 or 8 to 12, something like that. He would get up and go to work. And I would stay home. Y'all, I gotta tell y'all, I'm gonna make a whole nother segment about this, but I was a whole housewife in college. But he would get up and go to work, and I would stay home, and I would go to class, and I would come from class, and I would make him breakfast or lunch for when he came home. Not every day, but most days. And then there were days that I didn't have class, and I would like make lunch, and he would come home on his break and eat and then go back. Or sometimes I would make like a dinner real quick, and he'd come home, eat, and go back sometimes because he would work different shifts. But this particular day, let's get back to the story. He had to work early in the morning. I remember that. And I was not. Let me stress this to you guys. Ray was not a morning person in college. So I'm laying in the bed and I'm knocked out, dead knocked out. Now, there was a plug behind my headboard and then like outlets. There was an outlet behind my headboard, an outlet on the side of the headboard, and then an outlet like somewhere else in the room. So I'm knocked out, and I remember waking up and not being able to move. So I remember waking up and I'm facing the wall. So I can't see anybody at the door. I can't see like anybody else, and I couldn't move. And something sat, or someone sat on the side of the bed with me. I'm getting chills again, y'all. So someone sat on the side of the bed. I felt like, you know how you feel the bed sink in like this when somebody sits down? I felt that happen. I think I felt the presence of somebody being in there. So y'all tell me down below. Let me know, because I like to get into this conversation. Let me know y'all stories. But y'all tell me if y'all can feel presence when y'all are asleep. So like, for example, for me, I'm typically a light sleeper. So if somebody comes into the room or is walking around while I'm asleep, like my mom used to say, quit walking around my head, or walking over my head or whatever. It typically meant like, let's say you're not even near my head, but you're in the room walking around. I can feel you, and I can feel the presence. And I may not, if I feel like it's no danger, I may not like jump up out my sleep, but I know that you're in there. So even like when I dated guys and stuff, and I would be like waiting for them to come home, if I fell asleep in the midst of them like supposed to come home, oftentimes I could feel their presence when they came in, even if I didn't like want to acknowledge it. So in this particular instance, I'm laying in the bed, I'm facing the wall, and I feel a presence of someone like lay down. But in my head, I'm thinking it's JC. So I'm like, oh, JC came home and he came in the room for whatever reason. And I'm laying down, but I cannot move. I think I tried to call his name and I couldn't. I'm just laying there. And then I felt something or someone go over me and like, y'all. So my record button is flashing and it just literally scared the hell out of me because I like just looked up and seen red on there, but whatever. So Jace, I felt something like go over me and like go behind the headboard. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, JC came home, grabbed his charger, and then left. Left part of my brain thinking that, right part of my brain talking about some, you know that I wasn't JC, girl. Like, you know it. So, of course, when I wake up, I'm a little like on edge. So when JC did come home that day, I'm like, hey, you came home from work, because also, y'all, he worked not far from where we live. Like, if I had to guess, like maybe 3 or 4 minutes driving. So there would be times that he would come home like on his breaks and stuff to get something and leave right back out. So I was like, hey, did you come home like while I was sleeping, like grab your charger? That's what I'm thinking. He grabbed his charger from the back of the wall. So like, did you come home to get your charger or something? And he was like, I didn't come home today. Excuse me, JC, what? What are you talking about? You didn't come home today. What? What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, I remember being very like confuzzled and looking at him like, what you mean you didn't come home? I felt you come home. I felt you sit on the bed. I felt you grab the charger. What do you mean you didn't come here? Make it make sense. And he was like, no, it was busy at work. I didn't come home today. So I'm like, okay. We got 2 other roommates. Now, one roommate I knew for a fact did not come in there because we weren't friends like that and we weren't cool like that. So there would be no reason for him to come in, sit on the bed, go behind me, get the charger. Like, that just wouldn't make sense. Like, it wasn't given that. He barely came out his room, to be honest. And when he did, he rushed right back into his room. I don't think he liked living with us too much, even though he was JC's friend. He was JC's friend, but it seemed that like they kind of fell off when we moved together. But whatever, that's not my story to tell. Anywho, the other guy we lived with was one of my close friends, okay? And I just asked. I was like, did you come in my room? And he was like, no. And I really didn't think he did because he was rarely home. He typically wasn't there. He was typically with his girlfriend. So I didn't like think that he honestly, y'all, he really wasn't there. Like, he was just always somewhere else. And when he was there, I would know because he was usually like playing music or something. So I really didn't think it was him. But I asked just to ask. So I guess my right part of my brain won because I was like, okay, it wasn't them. Clearly, it was some sort of spiritual thing. And I knew it might have been because I started to recite Psalms 23 again. Everything. That's usually what I recite when I find myself deep down battling something. And y'all, I really fell off because I need to like relearn it. I used to know it word for word, and I fell off. I need to relearn it. But yeah, when he said that, I was kind of just like, okay. And I remember being like a little tossed up about it, but I kind of just like let it go. You know, life goes on. You tend to forget it. I was in college. I probably drank the day away and forgot. So fast forward, I'm not going to say it didn't happen anymore, okay? But I'm telling you guys the stories I distinctly remember. I have 2 more stories for you guys, and then I'm going to tell a lighthearted story because sis is getting a little like shaken up. And I got to make it through the rest of the night. And I have an appointment at 10 in the morning. So we need sleep. I know I'll be okay when I get off of this, though, because I'll just talk to my best friend or something on the phone. But okay. So my 3rd story also happened in college. So Truth and I were dating at the time. And Truth used to work overnight. So I'm at home and I think I was texting him and I was like, hey, are you coming to my house tonight? Like, are you coming over here tonight, or are you going home? Let me know, because he did not have a key to my house. He was not going to get a key to my house. Like, oh, I'm coming over. So that might have been at like 11:30, 12. And I was like, okay, I'm going to leave the door unlocked for you. So then at like 2, you know, when you're waiting on somebody or somebody's supposed to come home, let me know if you have this below. If you are married or dating someone and they get off late, or, you know, in the evening, and you can't sleep unless you're utterly tired because you're waiting on that person, or you're waiting to talk to that person, or you just have like an unsettled mind. That's how I am. If I know somebody's supposed to come home, if I know somebody's supposed to be there and they're not, it's really, really hard for me to sleep. This particular night, I stayed up until like 2, which I'm a night owl anyway. I'm very nocturnal. So I was up, and I remember texting him, and I think he like wasn't responding, or he said he was coming. And yeah, I think he like kept saying he was coming. And then somehow he just was like taking forever. So at like 3:34 in the morning, I finally fell asleep, like, but I was fighting my sleep. So this is where we cross from sleep paralysis to like lucid dreaming, I think. I don't know much about lucid dreaming, but if I had to guess, it would be something like this, because you're awake, but you're asleep at the same time, or like your body's shutting down, but your mind's still up, right? And I feel like that's what was happening. Like my body was like, girl, F him, go to bed. And my mind was like, no, stay up, stay up, stay up. So at this point, I'm like falling asleep, but like waking up every 5 seconds. So you know, you fall asleep and you're just like that's how it was. So I had fell asleep, and I felt somebody like come sit on the bed, kiss me like on my forehead. And I had fell asleep like laying across my bed looking out the window. So there was a window there. I also had a TV. Why I fell asleep looking out the window, I don't know. And I don't think the TV was on. I felt somebody once again sit on the bed, but I could not turn, or like, actually, I don't think I tried to turn. Like, I was just so dead tired. I don't even think I really tried to move. I just felt like my body was stiff. And then I felt like somebody kissed me. And I remember like just like going back to sleep thinking he was in the bed with me. And I woke up, and like when I woke up, maybe like at like 4:35 in the morning, I woke up, and I'm like, the front door was still unlocked. Like nobody was in the bed with me. So I get up, I get out my room, I go to look in the living room. The front door is unlocked, meaning he never came, because if he did, he would have locked the door. Nobody's in the bathroom. Nobody's in the living room. And at the time, I had roommates, but it was a break. I distinctly remember that. Called him, and I was like, why would you? Because he could not lock the door if he left. So if he left my house, there would be no, it was only a top lock, so he couldn't lock it. So I remember calling him like, did you leave? Like, did you come in, like kiss me and then leave? And he was like, no, I never came over there. And I was like, one, I'm fucking pissed, because why would you tell me you're coming and you didn't, and I left my door unlocked? 2, like, what the fuck just happened? What just happened? Who the fuck just kissed me on my forehead? Ever so loving and gentle. Who? And at the time, my dad was still alive and my grandmother was still alive. So at the time, like if that were to happen after they passed away, I would have been like, oh, it was one of them probably. But at the time, they were both still alive. That being said, I was definitely nervous, y'all. And I wasn't like, I started to like not get used to it, but I started to like become accustomed to like learning that God always has me. God is my protector. So I was just like, okay, like it didn't hurt me, nothing happened. But it definitely to this day is something that's just like super weird to me. So this video is so freaking long. I'm gonna have to split this in 2 parts. This brings us to our last story, okay? This story happened this morning. Okay? It happened this morning, and it prompted me to tell all these other stories. So this morning I was laying on my couch. Okay? I was laying on my couch, and I woke up early this morning. I had stuff to do. I woke up, and my son went to take his nap at like 11:30, 12. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a nap with him because we have a long day today. So I lay down on my couch, TV off. I'm on my phone scrolling. I'm just on my phone scrolling, and I'm tired, but I started getting phone calls and text messages and stuff like that. And I'm trying not to, excuse me. So you guys ever be up, but you try not to respond to anybody because you don't want them knowing you're up? Like, my friends know I'm typically not a morning person. So, like, I don't like to respond to a message if I'm not going to be able to keep talking. So if you say good morning, I'm not going to say good morning and then not responding for 3 hours. Typically, what I'll do is I will like wait until I know I'm okay to talk. So this particular morning today, or yesterday, I was up and I was on my phone, but I was tired. I didn't get much sleep the night before. Like, so the night before, I think I went to sleep at like 4:30 in the morning, knowing I had to get up at 9. So I didn't get much sleep. So I remember being like, I fed my son some breakfast and I came and I laid on the couch, and I'm laying on the couch and I'm like just going through my phone, and eventually I end up falling asleep, right? But it was one of those sleeps where I was like up sleep again. Like, it's like I keep like pulling myself in and out of sleep. But this time I had like fell asleep and I'm laying on the couch and I wake up. But I wake up and I feel stiff. I don't even think I tried to move my body at first. I just felt really, really stiff at first. So then like I tried to move and I realized I couldn't move. So then I tried to talk. And when I went to go talk, I felt very strained. And it almost felt like, oh, y'all, I'm getting the chills. Hold on. Hold on. Let mama get her nerves together. Let me get my nerves together. I almost felt as if my soul was coming up out my body as I was talking. Like, it was like, just like coming out. Like, I couldn't talk. My voice was very like strained. So it almost like hurt to say it. So also, before I even tried to talk, I gotta go back, because I don't know with you guys, but with me, I forget stuff when this happens. Like, I tend to like go back to sleep, like, I wake up and I remember the incident happened, but I don't remember all the details. So today I did remember the details because I wrote them down after the incident. But I remember laying there. I remember waking up and facing this couch. So there's a couch on the like behind you guys where I'm recording. There's a couch right behind you guys, and there's a couch here, and there's an ottoman. This is an ottoman, and it separates those two couches, right? So if I had company, 2 people could sleep down here. And I'm asleep on the couch, and I'm facing this couch. So I remember waking up and feeling somebody. So if I'm facing that couch, but I can't move to look this way, I felt somebody sit down on the couch. I heard somebody say Ray, right? Ray is my real nickname. So I did hear somebody say Ray. And I heard my son faintly crying. Like, it sounded like he was like faintly crying. So of course I need to save my goddamn son. Like, he's all the way upstairs, I'm downstairs. And y'all, this is a thing that does bother me with being a parent. My son is sleep trained, and he sleeps in his own room, in his own bed, and he has a camera in his room. And there are days that I'm like, I check on him in the middle of the night. One, I gotta make sure the baby's still there, even though I tend to like leave my door open when I sleep, like my room door open, or I'll sleep downstairs solely for the fact that I need to protect us, and I need to sleep where the entry levels are. So if somebody come up in this bitch, they could die before they ever get upstairs. Okay? So, all jokes aside, I live in a really good neighborhood. But I was like hearing him cry faintly. And so I'm thinking, oh, okay, I need to go to him. And I think that's when I tried to speak. And I could not speak. So then I start to recite Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And literally, that's all I said. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And I might have said and then it like snapped out. I literally said like a sentence, like the Lord is my shepherd, whatever, and or not whatever. But that verse, I didn't even get through it. And I remember snapping out of it and like feeling my body unstiffen. And I remember opening my eyes back up, because it's like when that happened, it was like this, like exactly like that, like a whew. And I remember starting to type really quick because I was tired. So I don't know if y'all ever dealt with the witch right on your back, sleep paralysis, whatever you want to call it. But when it happens, you're awake, right? And you're not moving, you're not talking. But when you're coming back out of it, it's like you go back to sleep. Well, at least for me, y'all. And comment a sleep emoji if this happens for you. You go back to sleep and then you wake up like it never happened, as if it was all a dream. And I think they like medical reasons, they say it is a dream. But you go back to sleep like it never happened. And that's why I don't always remember the details, because I'll go back to sleep. Like I'll say it, I'll snap out of it. I know that I can move and stuff now, but then I tend to go back. I've never, ever snapped out of it and just got up out of bed. Ever. Like I've never snapped out of it and like felt myself like, oh, okay, I can move now. All right, get up, Ray. Like that's never happened. Usually I snap out of it and somehow I go right back to sleep like immediately. And then I don't know how long I'm asleep, but I wake up from that sleep and I'm like, yeah, I remember having this, but I also remember going back to sleep. So this morning when it happened, I snapped out of it and I grabbed my phone and started typing. But my body was like forcing me to sleep as I was typing. So as it was forcing me to sleep, I'm trying to type and I go to type and a 6 pops up. And it's like a little 6, like something you would put over a letter or a number. So if I can figure out how to put it on the screen, I will. But it wasn't like your number 6. It's like when on my keypad, if I hold the 6 down, this 6 pops up. So it was as if I was holding the 6 down, I guess. So I seen that and I was trying to type what had just happened. So that, of course, startled me too. But it wasn't like multiple 6. It was just the 1. So that could be a coincidence. But I was typing and this is how I remember it, because when I was telling this story earlier, like a few hours after it happened, I was telling the story. I totally forgot that I heard somebody call my name and that I heard my son crying or a baby crying, but I associated it with my son. I totally forgot that I heard that. But because I got up and I wrote it down, now it didn't make a lot of sense. The words were misspelled, but I knew what I was trying to say. Yeah, that's what happened. And I don't know. I don't know if these occurrences happen more when I'm like sleepy, like when my body's super exhausted, but my mind's not. I don't know if that causes it. If that lets it in, per se, because I am spiritual. I tend to have my dreams that kind of like manifest themselves in life. I tend to have those dreams at those moments too. So when I go to sleep in the middle of the day, and I knew this, so when I woke up, I was like, something told me not to go back to sleep because it was the middle of the day. Like I should have just stayed up. But when I go to sleep in the middle of the day, it's usually when this stuff happens. When I go to sleep at night, for the night, I usually don't face this. Or like if I wake up at 7 in the morning and I go back to sleep, I don't face this. It's when I go to sleep between like the middle of the day. Like I said, it was like 12 o'clock. That's typically when this happens. Or if I take really early evening naps. Like yesterday, I took a nap from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, like from 5:30 to 6:30 or something like that. When I tend to do that, I tend to have more vivid dreams and things like that. So I didn't when I took the nap on Monday, but I did have that happen yesterday morning. So I did want to come in here and share with you guys that since it is spooky season, I actually was watching Voodoo Child's videos and like her tribe talks or tribe teas when they send in their stories, and somebody else was talking about sleep paralysis. I was like, wow, for it to just happen to me. But yeah, I have been watching those like last week. So with that being said, this concludes our first Halloween story time. We have 2 more. One's going to be lighthearted. That is the one that I'm going to do about my father. And then we also have another one that I have to record during the day because it bothers me to this day. I got through these tonight, but I need to record that one during the day. Like, so you guys will see that one. I actually already recorded it. but I don't think I like how it came out. So I'm gonna re-record it. And when I say that, I mean I don't like the actual like scenery of where I recorded it at, and the visuals of it. So I'm gonna redo that, and that will be up sometime shortly after this one. I'm gonna try to get all 3 of these up this week. So stay tuned for those. So yeah. Thanks for tuning in with me today, and I'll see you in my next one.